Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times. So today I decided that I was gonna make a video turning something that I don't like into book recommendations. So you guys know, if you follow me on Twitter, I absolutely hate going to the dentist. The dentist is something I cannot read about. I cannot watch any movies where they are like horror movies with dentists. Is not happening. So yesterday I had a filling done in one of my teeth and I still have a little bit of pain, but I'm feeling much better today. So I decided today, why don't I make a video about books that not only deal with, doctors and malpractice, but also like plagues and diseases and things that are just gross. And why not? Let's make a video about that.
It's coffee time.
So in today's video, I have decided to mix it up as much as possible. I have a classic, I have a couple of thrillers, I have a YA, I have a middle grade, I have some adult books, and I even have a non-fiction that I want to read myself, and I'm using this video to hold myself accountable and finally pick it up. So here are 12 recommendations, books about medical horror, and some interesting also books about plagues, viruses, or diseases. But before we jump to that list, if you're new here, if you love the content, if you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel and also hit the notification bell before you leave. The first one is A Case of Need by Michael Crichton, and he wrote this in 1968 under the name of Jeffrey Hudson. And this is the book that he wrote directly after doing his medical internship, and it follows a medical center in Boston. And basically there is a death, somebody dies under the knife on the surgery table, and there are all these questions that are coming up. If this was malpractice, what happened, was it done on purpose? So this is kind of like a mystery thriller that does touch a lot. Obviously takes place in a hospital, so it is all about doctors and surgery and all of that stuff that I absolutely hate. But I can read about it, I can just not watch movies about it. If you already know this book by the author, he also wrote The Andromeda Strain, which is also a book that is always recommended as a medical horror. The next book is our classic from actually 1947, and that is The Plague by Albert Camus. And this is a book that does touch kind of philosophy. It's less of a horror, but it is a great exploration when it comes to the plague, and it is super interesting to see what back then in the 40s we can still see nowadays. And it is kind of an exploration of human beings during a situation like a plague, which I think a lot of us could relate to right now. And it is about also human behavior, the way that we react, the way that we behave when we have such a case, and it's all based in North Africa. This is a classic that might not be for everybody. It might be a little bit dry for some people. The writing style might be a little bit outdated, but if you're looking for a philosophical reflection on plagues, this one is a good one to go to. Our next book is all about zombies, and it's actually a trilogy. The first book is Feed by Mira Grant, and it's interesting because in this book we're supposed to be in 2014, and apparently we already found the cure for cancer. But in doing so, we also created a very dangerous virus that is spreading, and it's making people want to feed. So 20 years later, there's a couple of bloggers that are trying to really dig deep into what actually happened and who is responsible for this virus spreading. So this one is a fast-paced, really interesting trilogy. It's a lot of fun. I know it's zombies and it's been overdone, but if you're looking for a fun fast-paced, interesting story about zombies. This one is a little bit different than others, so this one might be one that you would like to check out. The next one is a really interesting one, and that is Parasite Eve by Hideki Senna, and this is horror sci-fi, and it's all about this doctor that after he is in a car crash with his wife and his wife perishes, he is obsessed to try to get her reincarnated again, and he donates her organs, but he also keeps her liver and tries to experiment with it and with the cells. This is one that has a lot of accuracy when it comes to science, and it's definitely for people that love to read scientific stuff in their horror books, and this is one that many people maybe not know of. So if you have not checked it out yet, this would be one that I would recommend you guys. Our next book is another mystery thriller with some horror added to it, and that is Coma by Robin Cook. This one is also one that takes place at a hospital, and there are weird things happening here. Some patients have died on the table, other patients just went into the deep sleep, they went into a coma, and we have a student that is doing her internship in the hospital. So soon she starts investigating, and she realizes that there is another very dark truth, a very dark reason why these patients are being apparently put into a coma. Another great trilogy by Mira Grant that also fits kind of the theme of this video is Parasite. And this is a really interesting, cool concept, because we are in a world in which all illnesses have been cured and there is no illnesses anymore, but every human has gotten this little parasite, kind of like a tapeworm, implanted in them, and that is what is keeping them illness free. But of course things are about to go wrong, and these parasites have a mind of themselves, and at some point they decide that it is time to regain control. And from one disgusting parasite book to the next, we have a popular one here now, and that is The Troop by Nick Carter. I believe this is probably the one that most people know of, and we follow here a group of Boy Scouts that are with their mentor, and they are having a nice camping trip in this little island, and they are in a campfire having fun until this weird looking stranger appears, and he seems to have some sort of sickness, and they try to keep him away from the kids, but things are gonna go wrong in this book. Now this book is very messed up, it is very disturbing and gross, so just know that before you go into it. Now let's go to our YA pick, and for this one I have chosen Wilder Girls by Rory Power, and I did it also with the purpose of, if you're somebody that you cannot take too much horror but you would like to read a book about a virus or a disease that is spreading, I think this one would be perfect for you, because one of my complaints about this book was actually that it didn't have enough horror, that I didn't get to see so much of the virus. So this also is a book that has LGBTQ representation, which I actually appreciated. And in this book we follow a school for girls that is in an island that has been put in quarantine for the past 18 months, and the girls have been dying, and because of this virus they've had like gruesome kind of consequences. Their bodies have changed, and they are trying to figure out what actually happened to them. Why was this virus spread? Why is it only in this island? So there's a couple of girls from the school that are trying to figure out what happened, and I enjoyed it. It was not my absolute favorite, but I think this one is perfect for people that, like I said, cannot take too much horror but would still love to read about disease and this kind of virus spreading. Next we have Chasing Secrets by Jennifer Cholenko, and this is the only middle grade that I could find that has had one of the topics of this video, and that is the plague. We follow Lizzie in San Francisco, and it is the 1900s. And she really loves science, which is something not typical for a girl her age. She is 13 and her father is a physician, and there is this rumor spreading that the plague is getting to San Francisco, and so we get to explore all of that. So this book is not 100% horror, but it does deal with the plague, and it was the only middle grade that I could find that has to do with a plague, a virus, or evil doctors. Maybe there are others out there, but I can totally see why this is not a topic that it is regularly addressed in middle grade books. Next, we have another trilogy that starts with the first book, Infected by Scott Ziegel, and this is about a virus that spreads in America. It's a sci-fi horror, and this virus is turning people really violent. They are attacking their loved ones, they are attacking themselves, and they're hurting other people as well. So this is a little bit more not 100% accurate scientific, but we do have a group of scientists and the CIA trying to figure out what happened, where is this virus coming from, and how to stop it. Next, we have Dr. Perry by Kirsten McKenzie, and this one reminds me a little bit of the new movie Netflix I Care a Lot, because we are in a retirement home in which, you know, people that work there know that most of these elderly have been forgotten. They're lonely, they're out by themselves, and nobody's really gonna ask questions. So for the older people, for the elderly, they're happy that they are getting to this amazing retirement home where they're going to spend the rest of their days, you know, taken care of. But of course we have this doctor that abuses this power to perform specific, let's say, forbidden treatments on the patients. So if you are into that type of stuff, this might be one you want to check out. And the last book that I would like to recommend you is actually one that I want to check out myself. This is the non-fiction book. I really want to read more non-fiction. I just never find the time, and I also have not ordered some of the non-fiction books that I have on my wish list, but this one is one that really intrigues me and also scares me, and I hope that I can take it because this is based on real medicine from the 1900s. So the title of the book is long, so let me read it to you. It is The Butchering Art, Joseph Lister's Quest to Transform the Grisly World of Victorian Medicine by Lindsay Fitzharris. So the book talks about the shocking story, the shocking procedures that were made in the 19th century when it comes to surgeries and other kind of treatments, because what happened before anesthesia? What kind of things did they do to their patients? Was it more to help them or more just to experiment on them? Also, there were grave robbings, I believe, back in the time as well. And, you know, I've always been really intrigued to read more and discover more about old medical procedures and surgeries. I've always wondered how they did things back in the day when they didn't have access to things like anesthesia or other tools that make our lives easier. Like, I just went to the dentist yesterday, like I said, and I was thinking yesterday night, how the heck did they do these things back in the day? Like, it must have been so horrible, so horrible. And also, most of the things that we have access to nowadays, like a filler or things like that, I don't think they did all of that stuff back in the day. Like, I just was thinking of how gross people's mouths probably were back in the day. And I was like, ew. Anyways, I'm digressing. I'm just going somewhere else with this. But this is just to let you know, guys, that I love books that are based on real kind of medical treatments and things that they did in the past. So also, if you know of any other books around this, please let me know. Alright, you guys, so these are all the recommendations that I had for you today. I also made this video hoping that you guys would have other recommendations for me about medical horror, about viruses, about plagues, about really weird stuff, and also, like I said, about real medical procedures, things like that, or real medical stories. Yeah, so let me know down below if you have any other recommendations, because I know there are not too many out there, but there might be some that I have missed, some hidden gems that you guys know about, and you can help me discover those. So I hope that this list though helped you guys. I hope that you found something here that sparked your interest. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support, and I hope to see you all guys in the next coffee time. Bye.